We're back. We concluded December 18th last time we sat down, and we did the end of the day right up to the point of advancing our piece on the calendar. So we go to the 19th, going to our daily sequence. Move the units from the calendar space for the current day, put them in the reserve box. So we still have some allied units that have not yet come into play. So they are still in the reserve box. And then the 19th is not a big day for additional pieces. We have another 1st and 9th Division of the 5th Corps. And we have another piece in the 18th Corps. Okay, on the German side, we've got a couple good pieces to come in from 3PG. And we've got an entire corps of the 2SS. So we'll have a single armored. There's 3 pieces as part of the 2SS division and 3 pieces which will be part of the 9SS division. Okay. We had a German piece in the reserve box. Its day was the 18th. If we have not deployed him with a card, he would automatically be deployed to the game board on the 20th. Remember, we have that. Deploy is delayed by 2 days on German reserves. So it's the 19th, so he does not automatically get deployed. We have to either use a card or tomorrow, this same activity, he would get deployed. Let's take a peek at what we have going on the 19th also. So the German supplemental cards will be 7 again. That's how many cards we add from that pile to our draw pile. The Allied command level is now 3. So when we've expended 3 or more German command points in an impulse, then it switches to an Allied impulse. We also are adding 2 cards to the action deck. We'll get that when we get to the card prep phase. But just wanted to see what... Oh, also we've got German supply checks are also in effect on the 19th. So again, 16th, 17th, 18th, everybody was in supply no matter what. 19th, they have to be able to trace a supply path. There can also be when a card on the Allies calls for a possible activation, there's another piece of criteria that could come into effect, which is this: beginning with the 19th, if a unit in the pieces we're checking has a simple 2-to-1 strength advantage against a proximate German unit or stack, including strengths of other Allied units proximate, that would also qualify to do the activation sequence. All right. We have not released the German OKW reserve if conditions have been met. In a nutshell, we have to get a piece, at this part of the game where we're checking supply and all that. This is the Meuse River. We have to have a German piece across that or adjacent to it. So once that is in place at the start of a day, the German OKW would become deployed to the map. So as you can see, we have quite a ways to go before we have reached this river. Whoops. Okay. All right, card prep. Reinforcement cards that are scheduled to enter play. So if we look at that, on the 19th, we are to add 1 primary and 3 supplemental. I have them right here on top. You can see in the top right corner is the 19th. And this is essentially a primary card, which we'll see every day. And then 3 supplemental. 2 of these are for the 2SS. 1 is for the LXVII, the 3rd PG. So it's the cards that are supporting these pieces that are coming into play. Okay, so we need to take the supplemental cards from yesterday. I've pre-shuffled them, but we need to blend in these 3 supplemental cards. Doing this one-handed. Okay. Set this up. We'll do a simple shuffle. And then if you recall, it said the German supplemental cards for the 19th is 7. So once I have shuffled these up, I want to take 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They will be part of the draw pile. The rest go back to the supplemental, and then the discards from yesterday get placed on the supplemental. I'll shuffle those before we do this again tomorrow's day. And then the primary cards all go back into the draw pile. I've pre-shuffled these a bit. We're gonna stick this new primary card right in the middle of them. Give them another little mini shuffle, and then they become part of the draw pile. I'm gonna go ahead and do a top bottom to merge these 2. Okay. Do a bit more of a shuffle. And then it's going to say to draw our initial impulse for the day, which will be 6 cards. I always look forward to this part because this is always going to be new. We have XOVII, 1SS, Army Group B, LVII, LXVII. Excellent. So looking these over, this has a deploy all core reserves. This card could bring these onto the map. This card, activate all units in core, could bring all 7 of these pieces onto the map. So that's good. This lets me activate the entire 1SS. That's all those yellow pieces, of which there are many. And then these are the 2 the 2 primary divisions in the 5th Army, which are the ones we have out here. So this is a good draw. And Army Group B, I can activate any single core on the board, or I can put this group it down anywhere on the board. deploy all German reserves. I could also use this card to deploy everybody in this box. That might be a wise thing to do. Deploy all German reserves. Yes, that I think we might do that. Because then we can actually use these two cards to activate and move those new pieces we've added to the board. Okay. So that takes care of the card prep stuff, if you were to read through that. So we did those steps. Prepare the Allied command cards. Add reinforcement cards for this date. So if we look at the Allied command, for the 19th, there are no cards to add. Okay. I've already pre-shuffled these and split them in half to make it look like we just wrapped up yesterday. So I'll put those right back where they were. These are pre-shuffled. And then prepare the Allied action deck. So beginning on the 19th, we add 2 random action cards. So remember, these are adding more offensive things. So we have an attack and a strong attack that's going to be added to this deck. So let me just kind of blend those in, and then let's do a quick shuffle. There will also, like this says December 22, we remove this card. So there's a pullback we'll take out. December 25th, we'll take out this fill the gap. 27th, we'll take out that fill the gap. So there are some of those cards that get removed as the allies can take more of an offensive posture instead of a defensive. So put them back in. Supply phase. There's no air interdiction yet. It's not the 21st. I may optionally play a bridge engineer. That would be a command event, which I do not have, other than I could use this to do any command event. I'm not doing that with that card. Determine supply status of all German units in play beginning the 19th. So we're concerned about those that might not be able to trace a valid supply. I don't think we have any scenarios on the German. Everything can get back fine. You need to be able to trace within 4 hexes, getting to a road hex that can trace a line off the map without going into an enemy zone of control. But in doing so, you can, if you have a piece in the enemy zone of control, you can still move through that. Nothing here is in jeopardy. This is the furthest west. He has a path like this that goes off the map. Same with him. Same with these. So there's no supply issues for any German pieces. For the Allies, likewise, there's nothing in jeopardy. The only ones I'm going to look at are these. This is in zone of control. So this piece can go 1, 2. He's at the edge of a map. He's good. This piece can go 1, 2, 3. He's at the edge of a map. He's good. This piece, however, cannot go there. He goes here, even though it's in enemy zone of control, there's an allied piece there. So he can trace his supply through that. So his would be 1, 2, 3, 4. He's off the edge. Alternatively, it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4. He's on a road hex and off it goes. So there's no supply issues with any piece on the 19th. Remove roadblock markers not in both German and Allied communication. So I mentioned it yesterday when this one was placed. This hex is not in Allied communication because it would be tracing a path through German zones of control. So this hex is only in Axis communication. So this roadblock is removed. That one's in communication both directions, as is that one. So those two roadblocks remain. Okay. We do not deal with out of fuel yet. So we're to the command phase. First, German impulse. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and use this Army Group B card to put, it's pretty powerful to be able to put all those pieces on the board. That's kind of like the Allies. If they happen to draw the first Army Group card, then all the dark green would go on the board. So, first of all, we'll go ahead and place this one. Let's refresh the rule here. German Reserve deployment within the unit's Army area. So this is part of the 5th Panzer, so it has to be within this stripe across the board. It must be in a road hex that is valid supply, at least 3 hexes from an Allied unit, within the 3 hexes of a unit in the same division, or within the same corps or the same army. Units entering in the same impulse in the same division must be placed in the same hex. So this piece needs to be at least 3 hexes away from an Allied piece and within 3 of a German piece. This is its own division. It's not 2P or Lair or the 26th, so we just have to put it within 3 of one of these corps. 3. At least 3 hexes away from any non-isolated Allied unit or Allied town or city. We never took Hufelize, so we have to be at least 3 hexes away from that town also. Otherwise, I was eyeballing like right there, but we can't. We have to be at least 3 from Hufelize. We would also need to be at least 3 from Bastogne. There's a piece here, but in addition, we have to be at least 3 from Bastogne. We also would need to be, there's a piece in Wiltz anyway. 1. I just may add him down in here. That's not valid. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I may have to go as far back as here. Which we could do. There's 2 pieces there, but they only have 3 strength points. This piece has 3 strength points, so we could add him to that hex. Let's set him there for a moment. Make sure we're at least 3 away from him. At least 3 away from there. Yes, and then we can use him and go multiple directions. Okay. 3PG. these will be easier because there's only a few pieces on the board. These two have to go in the same hex because they're the same division. Has to be at least 3 away from him, and within 3 of him or him. So within 3 of him, 1, 2, 3 won't be far enough. So within 3 of this piece, so somewhere on this road or this road, at least 3 away, 1, 2, he could go here, here, 1, 2, 3, here. I think I'm going to use him to come this way and help on the back side. So from this piece, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, I can put him here. Okay, so he's within 3 of that. 1, 2, 3. He's at least 3 from here. He's on a road hex. He's in the 6th Panther Army area, so that's what we'll do. So we'll probably use him and move him back around this way. These guys, these are also part of the 6th Panther Army, so they have to deploy above this line. You know, this light gray stripe is theirs. They do not currently have their corps on the map, so they need to deploy within 3 hexes of any piece in the 6th Army, and at least 3 away from an allied piece. So we can get them a bit closer. So this piece, 1, 2, it's not, let's see. Oops. We could be down here if we want. He's with at least 3 from there. He could be used this direction. But if we put a stack here, now we have to place the next stack within 3 of that, which means we could go 1, 2, we can't go there. Well, then it says if not possible. Then it's back to same army. Okay, so we need not worry about that. So we could put a stack here, which could then be used up here quickly. Let's do that. We use the 2SS. Here. Again, he's at least 3 from him. He's at least 3 from him. He's within 3 of these. He has a valid supply route off the map. Okay, the next stack here, the 9SS. Again, I have to stay above this blue line. I cannot go here because he's too close. So if we go 1, 2, 3, that's too close to this one. 1, 2, 3. I could deploy here. That's probably my next best bet. So we'll put the 9th SS division there. And now we do have a, oh, wait a second. I'm going to back this up because I would have to do it within 3 of him. 1, 2, 3, which would mean he would have to go here. And that's okay. You know what? It's okay because we're going to do it with that piece. He's a standalone. He's not part of a division. And then the next one would have to be within 3 hexes of the same core, which that would be valid. That's what we will do. Okay, so we're going to be making a push. That's strong, that's strong. Hopefully we can do some stuff up in here before this all gets strengthened. Okay, and that's used up 5 points. That card goes the discard. That ends the German impulse. We draw that one. Let's do an allied impulse before we cut this particular recording off. Okay, allied impulse. Again, it's the same. If there's a special, we do that. If there's a deploy reserves, we do that. If there's expedite reserves. So there is no special. We do have a deploy 101st and 9th. We don't have any of that core in the reserve box. Now there is another rule in effect now as of, I think, yesterday. So the deploy command also will include check for out of contact units. So do we have any of the 9th or the 101st that are out of contact? And I'll go through these one by one. This piece is in contact because there is a German piece proximate. These can move here, so he is in contact. 101st, this one is in contact because a piece is proximate. This one is in contact. This piece is proximate. He's already next to a piece. So everyone in the 101st and the 9th Armored are proximate, so there's no out of contact units. So next we go to, well, there'll be assigned reemplacements. That does not begin until the 20th. Activate units to perform actions if the card's formation meets the prerequisites. So, if anything in this box is good, so we just looked at the 9th Armored and the 101st. No one is wandering behind enemy lines. Any in danger of surround? He is not, because this piece could not leave an enemy zone of control and move to another. So he cannot move to there. He cannot move to there. So he's not in danger of surround. This piece is not in danger of surround. I would need to be able to move a piece essentially to here, which I cannot do. This one's not in danger of surround. This piece, two. I have to think about this. If this roadblock needs to be considered. If the roadblock was not there, this piece could go 1, 2, 3, and this would be in danger of surround. Let's pull that up real quick. Again. Surround is 10.3. Allied unit is surrounded when every hex adjacent is occupied by German unit. Let me see if the roadblock specifies. Oh, hold on. We can make this short and quick. Regardless if that piece can be in danger in surround or not, notice here we have eligible for IP. So a piece that's in supply, not in a hex or town. This piece right here is in a forest. He's eligible for an IP. Therefore, we're going to do the activation sequence. So that made that quicker. We're going to draw 3 cards and do them in numerical order. So it's the 03 followed by the 06. All right. So again, this is the 101st and 9th armored. So we're only dealing with this, and this piece. Fill the gap. So the biggest numbered piece down to the smallest. So it's going to be looking at 14, 13, 8, then 4. So with the 14, unit is proximate to an empty position to which German unit is also proximate. We also want to preserve the line, avoid surround, protect the VP hex. He cannot move there. Well, he could not, because this would be to break contact +1. That would cost 2 more. So he's not going to do anything. This piece, we're going to consider this piece proximate to here. He's proximate to there, if he could move. This piece, 1, 2, 3, cannot get to the city. 1, 2, 3. This piece would also be proximate 1, 2, 3 to here. This piece would not want to go there because it enlarged a gap or created a gap. This would be a valid position to move to do the fill the gap. So notice we have a big gap over here too. So this is actually filling the gap, because now we have allied zone of control here and here and here and here. So that fixed the hole that was in the line. There's still one over here to deal with, but that's beside the point. So this piece has moved to fill that gap. Then we check piece number 8. Here's where, if it were me, myself, and I would probably go, this would cost me 1 to break contact, 2 to move here, my 3rd point to move to Bastogne. However, that would be, I'll have to make a judgment call. We're supposed to preserve the line. We're also supposed to protect the VP hex. Protect the VP hex says, do not move from VP hex if it leaves the hex vacant. We're not yet in there. I think it is in the best interest to interpret this such that this piece will move here. As long as a roadblock is considered part of this rule. Let's look up roadblock real quick. 15. All right. Fill the gap. Unit proximate to empty position, to which the German unit is also proximate. Move to position. More than one, move to highest text value. See, my concern is by moving him here, he is essentially increasing the size of the line because he's adding an extra space, allowing, like this piece to move on. I'm thinking he needs to stay put. Because this line is here. There's zone of control, and a piece. Okay, I'm going to leave him where he is. And then this piece will also, let's see, again, to preserve the line, he needs to stay put. We cannot enlarge this. That's what preserve the line means. All right, so we're going to drop that, fill the gap. Now we go to strong attack. We moved this piece so he won't be a part of anything else. Starting with the lowest numbered, which would be that armored division. If the strength of that unit and stack and other active units are greater than 3 times approximate German stack, no. Because the other active units are scattered over there. So we move to item 8. We can only consider this piece and this piece. If those two are proximate to a piece where they have more than 3 times the strength, they do not. We're not going to be doing a strong attack. Strengthen. Unit is proximate to but not stacked with an allied unit with strength less than 3. But we need to preserve a line. So we're not going to be moving any of these pieces because we're not going to move them to stack with another because we would lose the preservation of the line. So all those cards ended up doing was moving a piece from here to here, which is fine. Now, anyone who did not move or have combat, place an IP marker if they're valid. So this piece, he's not in a town or city, he gets an improved position. He's already in a town. This one is in a town. So that concludes the Allied impulse.